Hello everyone, this is Gilmer and I am doing, hold on a second, I am going to turn the music off because it really takes away from what I'm trying to do. So I'm doing this quick little video to help people with Army and Corps formation in the games, the Ageod games, and especially Civil War games, Civil War II. And I am going to do that by, I'm not going to play the full scenario or anything, but Bloody April, Shiloh, 1862 battle scenario. And this is probably a pretty good scenario. So I am playing the Union, and what we're going to do is just kind of go through a little bit of how to build an army. As you can see, I have what is called the Army of the Tennessee, and then I have the 6th, the 4th, and I'm going to look at each one of these divisions. And as you can see, I have several divisions. Now they're not attached to this army. It may look like they're attached to this army, but they are not. But first, let's just disband this army and then form it again. So as you can see, you have a button here under this command with the tent, and it says dismiss this army. So if I dismiss that army, now he's just a unit, just a general with a couple of units attached to him. It's still called Army of Tennessee, but it's not really an army. So form army. As you can see, I've formed an army. You have to have a 3-star general to form an army. And I don't think he can have anything attached to him. And how you might attach something to him is if you were to select both of these units, and then there's usually a plus button that says combine the 2 units. So let's see what this combination does. As you can see, this is a division, the 6th division, and I can split those units away from this general by doing this. And how you create divisional command for this general, and he is active. He has to be active to create divisional command. I'm going to remove divisional command, and then I'm going to enable divisional command. The button doesn't change. If he was inactive, you wouldn't see this button, I don't think. So to create a division, you would press the control key while you have the general selected. Press the control key and select the units you want to create a division with. And then it says combine units. So I've just created the 6th division after, actually it's now called the 7th division, even though it says 6th division over here. It's really the 7th division. That's very confusing. So now I have the Army of Cumberland, and what I want to do is create some corps. And the way you do that is you find which generals, let's go back. You find which generals are a 2-star. Hurlbut is a 1-star. W.H.L. Wallace is a 1-star. Sherman is a 1-star. John A. McClernand is a 2-star. And how do I make a corps from this? What I do is he has been built into a division as of right now. How you make a corps from this unit is by splitting the units, and once you do that, a 2-star general can create a corps, and this button will become enabled. It says create corps, and when I create that corps, it's going to be a corps of the Army of Cumberland. And I don't know if you can see it, but if you look at, oh, okay, here we go. He now has a diamond on his little tab command, and that denotes that he is an actual corps now. So a core, if you look at require command and provided command, he actually is way above his required command. So how do I fix this? What you do is you find and it might not be able to fix it actually. Actually, you can combine units. I guess he can have, I guess, one unit attached to. No, see, once I did that, the core button went away. He's not a core anymore, so I got to create a core. He needs extra generals in his command to get his 35% penalty down. So what we'll do is let's try putting him in here. The reason I put William Sherman in here is because he is a 1-star and he cannot create a corps. So he's just going to be a divisional commander until he can get promoted. And as you can see, I actually can add more units to him. And let's see how that works. So now his malice, his penalty, if you look at it, is down to 30%. And then let's try this guy and put him WHL Wallace and see if we can't. So we added some more units to him. And now the core is down to 10% penalty. And that's because he has generals under his command now, 1-star generals, that are able to take some of these loose units off of his hands and make it a more competent command, a more efficient command. And now what we are going to do is find the other one, Lewis L. Wallace. I don't know if you watched my video on Civil War II, but he actually wrote the book Ben-Hur. They just made a movie out of that. It was a remake of the 1959 Charlton Heston movie, and he wrote the actual book. It's pretty interesting. So we just split his units from him, so we don't want him as a divisional commander anymore, and we're going to create a corps. Now, we have 2 corps, and of course, I don't know if you can change the names of these corps. I don't know if you can or not. But as you can see, his penalty is 10%. So let's see if we can't fix that a little bit. Yes, let's see. So let's go back. And as you can see, now he has absolutely no penalties whatsoever on his core command. And this is how you build an army. So this is the Army of Cumberland. It has 2 corps underneath it. These are divisions, or, well, 1 division now, that is still loose. So let's put him in this one. And see, now he has a 5% penalty, but let's see if we can't fix that. So now we've fixed it. He has now a needed command of 20, or a required command. I mean, he has the ability to command 20, and he only has 17. So he's below his command point limits. So what we can do is then take one of these units and move him over here. And as you can see, it raised his required to 19, and it lowered McClernand down to 16 of 16. So now all of these units have no penalties whatsoever. And what you can do with this reserve is put it into the Army of the Cumberland. Now somebody much more experienced with these will be able to explain these better, but sometimes people say don't put artillery into divisional command, and sometimes they say do put them into divisional command, and sometimes they say put them in the Army. I don't know. But as you can see, we went from one Army and 6 divisions that were not attached to the Army to one Army, 2 Corps with no penalties whatsoever. So now this Army, if you on movement, you can say not riverine, synchronized movement. And I like to put them all in synchronized movement just because. And these 2 Corps are attached to this Army of Cumberland. So now when I come up here and say, okay, I want to move the Army of Cumberland to Decaturville. As you can see, all of them have the movement arrow now, and they will all move at the same rate or the same pace. So it will probably take them all 8 days to get there, and that's how you kind of coordinate attacks with your command. Separate armies won't do this. And now up here we have the Army of Ohio. He actually has 2 Corps already attached to him, and then this Clarksville force. So I hope that explains it a little bit, and I just wanted to also say that I think at the beginning of each year in the grand campaign, each side gets a big batch of new generals, and that's why you're not seeing any generals. But you have to promote the generals a lot of times, and the way you do that is on one of these screens there will be a message that says we'll just pick somebody by general. William Tecumseh Sherman. After a win, you'll see a message that says William Tecumseh Sherman is now available to be promoted. And how you do that is whoever it is that needs to be, that can be promoted, you'll just go to him, and then you will say, you'll click on him, and I think you have to take him out of the stack, and it'll say this button will be enabled, and it'll say promote leader, and it'll tell you if he's not the most senior of 1-star generals, it'll tell you the penalty for promoting him above somebody else. But this button will be enabled for you to use. So I hope that helps on the whole Army structure. And then strategic redeployment, I don't know what that, I've never used that button. But anyway, that's it for this video. It's just to help people with Army, Corps, and Divisional Command. Thanks a lot.